All right, so I'm going to start by working on our bouquet. We'll get started on a few of our flowers here, and we've got them in spring colors. You can always pick your bouquet colorways that you would like to use. This was more of the reference that I had, and so I'm going to kind of pick a few places to put this kind of orangey coral color into our bouquet. So we've got a little bit of a variety, and we want to get a little bit of pigment here. We don't want to go around every line or fill it completely in. We want to leave some white. We want to really dab in, grabbing a little bit of yellow there, some vibrancy in here. So now I'm just taking this hibiscus and adding it in here just to make sure we've got that. And now I'm going to start adding in some of the pink so we can make sure to have a balanced bouquet, kind of grabbing those edges just to make sure that we close out the white of that space. And I've got a little bit of the sunset. So this is part of my cottage core series, and this is a little fancy for our little cottage, but I think we can all appreciate a few moments of fancy in our common everyday life to just kind of bring things up a notch. I've got some fun little fancy things I put here on my desk, my little paint space here, just to get in the mood. Let's see. Looking in my reference to just kind of see, you can find the reference I just showed you on Tamery.com. It's in the cottage series, so you can just go in the search area and find the reference photo. I have a little shop, and so if you bought the motifs there, then on the packaging I have a QR code that will take you right to this motif, and hopefully that's where you found this video, so you'll see right there the color version that you can just kind of have it out on your phone, or if you're watching this video, just take a good look ahead of time and pause and look back at it if you need to. So I'm putting in some of these light pinks that were in the reference. I really liked this bouquet. It's a little bit unique and different. I think these would look nice in a nice lavender if you like that kind of colorway also. I'm a mom of 4 sons. They're all adults now, but I didn't have any girls, so sometimes pink just is a nice rest from all of the blue and boys and Hot Wheels and things, so that's why I like all this pretty stuff. And I have these things. I painted this picture, and I found this frame, I think, at like a garage sale or something. I love it. I wish I could find another one like it. And then this little turtle paperweight that's over here came from my precious grandmother's desk. She was an artist, and she didn't do watercolor, but she did paint oil paintings. So I have a few of those here in memory of her in my house. And she thought it was fun that I started to watercolor. I'm going to go in here, and I've got this kind of bright green, and only if, oh, that wasn't dry yet, because that's where I made that mistake. Just went right over it again. If I wait for that to dry, it's going to set up better, and not pay attention. And so I want to find the very tip of my brush. Got the most minerals there. I'm not pushing down hard, so you can test on your tester. If you've got my Take and Paints, you've got this little piece here to try out your colors, and you can test your fine motor skills here. And we may go back with a little bit of a poppier green in a second, but I want to get this first layer down. Not going for perfection, I'm going for fun and hopefully enjoyment, and I can have something to frame that doesn't have to be world famous. It can just be nice and lovely. So hopefully you don't put too much pressure on yourself. We're not being graded here. I did go to art college and we did have to be graded, which is kind of funny since art is so subjective. But, you know, it's college, you gotta get graded. So a lot of times people come, I have like classes I teach in person, and people get so nervous, especially ones that come with a friend who convinced them. And I always ask for a show of hands on anybody who was at my class to become a world famous artist. And I've never had anybody raise their hand saying that was their goal of coming to my class. So I think it puts everybody at ease to know that it's just for fun and you can keep working at it. You can get better, but why should we take something so lovely as art and be stressed about it? So I'm talking a lot here. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. Just tapping in some of this color, and I'm looking in my reference to just kind of see what is what, because when you're looking at a pile of lines, it's really difficult to know what you're looking at, and especially this, I don't even know what that is, so I'm going to put it in pink and try to figure it out later. We're going to get a little bit of purple and put some light lavender. It's a little too much, so I'm going to clear off my brush a little bit. If you get too much pigment, you can just come and kind of wipe it with your brush, move it to somewhere else. I'll make sure to get enough water in there this time so that doesn't happen. And got some kind of black and purple here. So ideally you want to go around and kind of paint in similar colors if you know where you're headed with that, so that you're not having to clear your brush every time. Now I'm giving an impression. These pink, kind of highlighting a few things now. I had that light pink, and instead of going around the outside first, I did the overall light pink, and now I'm kind of coming in with a little bit of highlight. I am going to fix these other flowers in case you were wondering. I let those set up. And back here I have some kind of yellow in my example. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this pineapple color. It's a little brighter. Add it in as a highlight on some of these. You can see I'm just dropping in a little bit of that yellow. And now I'm going to take a clear brush, no yellow on it, and kind of fill in some of these gaps. Clear my brush again before I move to the next color. And here I'm just lightly moving, activating some of that paint. I don't want to fill it all in, but I'm getting rid of some of the white of the paper, so just lightly. So you just have to be careful to work from the very tip so that it's not adding too much water as you go. And these are green back here. They're totally closed. And that was pink. Missed that. Oops, I got that coral color in there. So you see how I'm kind of just tapping in a little bit of that brightness since that has soaked into the paper. And I'll just put a little bit as a highlight on some of these delicate flowers to give it some contrast. And follow some of the lines that are drawn here so we get the shape of those petals. Now that is a pink and a kind of orange. I kind of like that. I think I kind of had a nice bright yellow at the center of some of these, which makes it sort of pop. All right, so we've got the gist of this, and if we see something else that we missed or want to come and put a highlight in, we can. It's never too late. Got this green over here. Let's see. Gonna come in on the, it's not quite opened yet. All right, so we'll come back to that later if we need to. And now we're going to work on our little vessel here. Looks like it's a aged or antique gold. You can choose silver, obviously, any color that you want. I think that it is metal, and therefore I'll paint it with a little bit of a highlight over there, or low light. I'll just kind of use that as a bit of a shadow that'll probably go in later and work on a little bit more. This whole side is a little bit darker. And of course, right under here where there are flowers, it's going to be a little darker as well. And we'll work on the medallion in a minute. But you can see it's starting to get dimensional. Then we can go over here to this little candlestick. And the one that I used as a reference, I kind of put this little setup together, I think was actually just white. I just liked the shape of it, and I felt like it went well with my design. So we're getting some of these little fur areas here where he's got different colors. He's a vessel, so that's why that's open there. So you can choose whether you want to do it as a vessel or not. You can just close that in. He's got his little ear on the other side. And I think I want to put something in here, maybe a few little fuzzy lines since it's a ceramic dog with fur, so we don't have to be too perfect. So I want a strong black here because I'm going to do the dog's nose so carefully. I'm going to do his eye, and I'm going to go along here and kind of fill that in. And I do want him to have a little bit of, he is like white, but I want a little bit of gray in there just to kind of give some dimension. All right, now we can take our brush and clear it and just kind of close in some of that white by going across it like I showed you before. And on this candle, I've got some of this gray here. I'm going to go along that one side in here just to kind of show it's got texture. It's up to you on how tarnished or how shiny you want it to look. This is very shiny, but then these areas here get kind of dark and brown looking, even though it's all gold. So you can decide on that. I'm just going to highlight a little bit here and kind of gold that back up again. And now put that over that brown. Looks a little more like metal. Get these little tiny flourishes. This one is a lot more muted. It's more of a cream color versus gold, so you can see how you could make it several different ways. Okay, on this dog here, I did a little turquoisey book. I thought it looked nice with the oranges and pinks that I had. Okay, let me try that as the edge here and here. Oops, I kind of got into my book there. A little bit of this gray and kind of fill that in with some gray and get rid of all of this. I don't want it to be all brown. I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm just kind of redistributing some of that. What we're looking at here, it's not the main star of the show. I have a feeling even though the bouquet seems like it should be the star, it might be this little dog right here. That'd be fun if it was the owner's dog and they had it made for them. But we don't know. We can make the story up ourselves. And I need to fill this in a little bit. This is a flower. Like I said, you can kind of start to see some details you may have missed as it all comes together. We're getting close. And then I had cast a shadow. I did the background. So you could finish just like this and it would go into a frame. If you want to try some additional things, we'll come in and do the background. Now, this shadow is kind of like going to cast a little bit that direction because it's far and I'm almost using like yellow because you'd kind of see the light. And now I'm kind of emulating this vessel here. And now very lightly kind of filling that line in. And our dog, let's be careful. Let's go a very light line here. that's like an overhanging tabletop. So you can play with this endlessly and keep adding different layers as long as you don't overwork it, but that's the gist of getting that bouquet and to look dimensional and adding those shadows in here and kind of have that romantic look with your cottage bouquet.